Well, if you had any glimmer of hope that the Arizona Diamondbacks season was still alive, that hope might be dead after watching the Diamondbacks lose 12-2 to the Detroit Tigers in today's game. We have more on this game turning sideways on the Snakes and why it really doesn't matter anyway at this point. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Boy, do I wish we could still curse. Welcome into the PHNX Diamondbacks show right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of this fine establishment. Got my guy Damon Dog on the ones and twos today, and he is ready to scream about watching this Diamondbacks team just get absolutely shellacked by the Detroit Tigers by a score of 12-2. What's odd is that this game did not start this poorly. In fact, this game for a little while felt like a competitive game that the Diamondbacks had maybe woken up a little bit. Their offense started to do some things early. They did fail to capitalize on some bases loaded opportunities. And then the fifth inning came around and the Tigers just absolutely rocked Brandon Pfaadt. They also rocked Diamondbacks' new young pitcher, one Brandon Garcia. And it wasn't a good day to be named Brandon as a pitcher on this team, but the Diamondbacks did lose this one by a score of 12-2. Welcome in. Great to have you guys here. Whether you're here to scream about this loss or to demand that Torey Lovullo loses his job immediately after this game, still glad you're here. This show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to download that Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up to get yourself some bonus bets over at Game Time. I would say use this to buy tickets to anything except baseball right now. But if you use that code of PHNX, you'll get $20 off your first ticket purchase over at Game Time. Diamondbacks dropped 6 games below 500 to 51-57. Not to say that this really matters, that they're slipping back further and further in the division, but they have lost 7 out of their last 8 games. And in their last 8 games, Damon, the Diamondbacks have scored a total of 11 runs. 11 runs, including not a single earned run against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Today did feel a little different, and it gave us a little glimmer of hope. Not enough, I think, for most people to, I think, at any point find this team to be resurrecting their season. I feel like the Diamondbacks could go on a 10-game winning streak, and that wouldn't be enough for people to feel like they turned their season around at this point. But at least offensively, it felt early on in this game that the Diamondbacks had come back alive, something that we have not seen, like I said, there in their last 8 games. Corbin Carroll hits a leadoff triple to kick off the game. He would score subsequently on a Ketel Marte RBI single. Diamondbacks, after 2 batters, are up 1-0, and Ketel Marte has an RBI. You also have Corbin Carroll notching his 14th triple of the year, and again, tying a career high for that category that he hit in 2024, which is probably the only positive takeaway from this game, Damon. It is July 29th, and Corbin Carroll has already tied a career high for triples. It very much feels like there are a lot of triples still left to come in his future, though I don't know.
I want that crown. I want the triples all-time crown at the end of our career, Derek.
What's interesting is that triples aren't really a thing in baseball anymore. In fact, the last time a player reached 20 triples was in 2007. It was 2 players did it. Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins did it back in 2007. So nearly a 20-year gap since a player has had 20 triples in a season. I I'm going to focus on this for a moment because it really is the only positive takeaway from this game. And as you know, look, I even tried to turn things around by wearing a shirt that I felt like embodied the cactus light from the fine folks at State 48. I know free ads. Max is busy though, so he can't get me up for this one. But definitely did not turn things around for this team, despite the fact that Corbin Carroll tried to get the things started early. What do you got?
I should have known, Derek, that this was going to be some record that some guy in the 1800s holds because they didn't hit home runs back then.
Yeah,
so
no.
A home run was a triple.
And they didn't play very good defense either, so a single could turn into a triple really quickly.
Sam Crawford hit 309 triples from 1899 to 1917.
And here in the modern day, it's been 20 years almost since someone's hit 20.
That's an average of 17 per season, Derek.
God.
So Corbin Carroll has some work cut out for him. Yeah. I will say, though, Ty Cobb second and Honus Wagner third. So pretty elite company for Sam Crawford at the top there.
Yeah. Ernesto in the chat says there's an earthquake off the coast of Russia. It was actually caused from the Diamondbacks season collapsing. I believe it. I don't know, though. Would you call this season a collapse, or has this team honestly been a 500 ball club all year long, and now they're just falling far below 500? I mean, a collapse would be more like the Diamondbacks at one point led the division, perhaps were 10, 15 games above 500. That's never really been the case this entire year, and that's unfortunate, and that's kind of been the indicator for this season. It's the reason why it's so hard here to have the front office finally admit that this season is a failure and start trading players away, because I mean they've just been that 500 ball club all year, and they've given you so many moments that have made you feel like they're a much better team than that and feel like they were going to turn things around. And as many people point out, like the Diamondbacks struggled even before having all the injuries. So the injuries didn't help them find their groove. But again, it wasn't like the Diamondbacks were on some sort of amazing path prior to those injuries occurring. They do, though. They will always have that excuse for this season. And it's a valid excuse. It's probably not good to need excuses, but again, it's not entirely the reason why this team has been mediocre. This team has been mediocre for entirely too long this season. And today's game, I mean, it's not the worst loss by any stretch of the imagination, but it definitely was like that moment that you know that this team is really a bad baseball team right now, and they really are playing some of their worst baseball of the year during a time when, quite frankly, they needed to. They needed to play good baseball. We had this discussion in our Discord last night, and it did come back around to, it is disappointing to see this team fall apart right now when the odds being stacked against them, it would be a great story to see them galvanize and win baseball games instead of losing them. Like, that's a very fairy tale-esque view of the situation, but it's also, quite the opposite of what we're seeing. And it would be nice to see this team not fall apart simply because some of the players that were a part of this team were traded away. It's kind of it does feel very mentally weak on the Diamondbacks' part, and a lot of this is illustrated by their lack of offense over this stretch. The Diamondbacks' inability to score runs and inability to put up those crooked numbers at any point over these games coming into this trade deadline is very disappointing, and I think is truly, again, there is something there that many of you want to do. You want to blame Torey Lovullo. That's something Torey deserves absolutely blame for, is not trying to motivate this team, not trying to get more out of them during a time where every win mattered, and everything they could have done here during this stretch might have changed the approach that Mike Hazen and the front office had at the trade deadline. But in this game, they squandered away their opportunities early. With the way that the fifth inning went, it's hard to sit here and say, well, hey, if they would have scored there, maybe things would have been differently. It does feel like even if the Diamondbacks put up 6, 7 early runs, this would have been a game that they still ended up seeing slip away from them with the amount of runs the Tigers scored. Tigers had 11 extra base hits in this game out of their 19 hits that they had in this game. And all of that happened in the 5th inning, and Brandon Pfaadt just completely unraveled after kind of cruising there through four innings prior to that. But the offense, like I said early on, had 2 huge opportunities. Corbin did score on that triple, but then the Diamondbacks were able to load the bases in the 1st inning with 1 out, and they weren't able to get another run out of the situation. And that's very disappointing. They would only get that 1 run out of it. Then in the 2nd inning, they would load the bases again when Ketel Marte would reach on a fielding error or a throwing error. And they would get 1 more run out of that on a Perdomo sac fly. But again, another situation where they had the bases loaded. They had the Tigers starting pitcher on the ropes. And, instead of being able to capitalize in those situations, they saw the pitcher be removed, and the Diamondbacks weren't able to do anything going forward from that point against the Tigers bullpen. In fact, once that bases loaded situation was done there in the 2nd inning, the Diamondbacks only had two base hits after that point. 2 base hits. I don't know what you can say about that. Patrick Wayne Collects, thank you so much for your super chat. He says, a lot of things have to go right for even the best teams to win a championship. This is an opposite side of that where everything goes wrong. We are seeing that this season. Can't wait to flush 2025. Brother, you and me both. And yeah, today was definitely one of those games that nothing went right for this team, but nothing went right in that 5th inning for the pitching for the Diamondbacks either. But
I will say that the only thing that stinks about flushing 2025 is that Corbin Burnes and Justin Martinez are still not here for 2026.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be like, guys, let's refresh. No big deal. We still have Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Jerry. We can go after it in the offseason, but it just feels like with those guys sidelined that it almost feels like next year is doomed as well.
Yeah, I
think that's why people are so low right now on this team.
Well, and you're losing the pieces that you're losing to free agency. That's the reason why we've been talking so much about the trade deadline and how important that is. You are most likely losing those guys anyway, but if this season turns out differently, you're more worried about those guys helping you win before they leave, and then hopefully getting some compensatory draft picks by offering a qualifying offer to those guys and having them turn them down because they had such a great season that they're going to go sign a big contract with another team. Now it's looking more and more likely like the Diamondbacks will trade away the pieces that were, that are on expiring contracts, plus some. Absolutely plus some. So, and they should. We've talked about that on our trending podcast with Espo the other day, that at this point it would be negligent to not trade these players away. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. I know some people would love to see, the Diamondbacks still, again, with still what people perceive to be a minimal deficit in the wild card race, try to go out there and make something happen in the second half. And it's not to say that can't happen, but after losing a game like this to the Tigers, you can see how kind of outclassed the Diamondbacks are at times. And, the bullpen was a cleanup kind of situation once what happened in the 5th inning happened. But you didn't get a great performance out of the bullpen once again, and it only extended the deficit and made it harder for the Diamondbacks to even attempt to make a comeback. But offense was atrocious once again in this one after you get through those first 2 innings. Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte, the only 2 players with multi-hit days. Ketel Marte was 2 for 4 with an RBI. He did get caught stealing in the top of the 5th inning when he was the go-ahead run in the game. At that point, the game was tied 2-2. Ketel Marte was able to reach second, and then again gets caught stealing, trying to steal third. Too aggressive, Damon, and I know it's a minor thing, but is something as small as that enough to kind of be the turning point for the Tigers once they get Ketel out there at third, and then they come up in the bottom half of the inning and just rock Brandon Pfaadt?
No, I mean, I think there's always going to be something along the line, right, that happened that made the game kind of unfold the way that it did. And yeah, there's always going to be stuff that you look at and think to yourself, like, well, if this went a little bit differently, but reality is the Diamondbacks offense wasn't scoring more than the runs that they scored tonight. They weren't giving you anything. They haven't given you anything for a week. So if the Tigers were going to put up 3-4 runs This was always going to be an L.
Yeah. King Snake, King Schmake. Why do we even name one? I guess we are. We're going to name Corbin Carroll our King Snake for this game. 2 for 4 with that big triple again, tying a career high from 2024 with 14 triples this season. And again, Corbin Carroll could be the first player to reach 20 triples since Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins did it in 2007. But not much offense out of that. And also, again, I could sit there and dwell, like I said, on the 2 instances where the Diamondbacks had bases loaded and weren't able to manage to get more runs scored, weren't able to capitalize on those situations. But does it really matter with what ends up happening to Brandon Pfaadt in this game? I don't know. I do know one thing, though, that the Tigers are driving me nuts with their bone saw celly. I don't know if you saw this, Damon. The Tigers are doing this thing. You saw them doing this. I know you guys all saw them doing this. They did it a lot. They had 11 goddamn extra base hits tonight, so they had plenty of chances to do their bone saw celly. And I know it's a bone saw celly because I learned about this far too early in the season, and yet here it is coming around, and they're stuffing it in my face. It is a reference, Damon, to the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. Bone saw, Macho Man Randy Savage, in the infamous scene where Spider-Man goes to take on a pro wrestler in order to make some money. And he does so in the movie, again, portrayed wonderfully by one Macho Man Randy Savage, former baseball player, by the way, as well.
And crazy I hate lore on this episode of PHNX.
I hate how cool this celebration is. And yeah, I do want to teach some things, but I also just want to express that it makes me sick. Like, this is one thing that I will say. I feel like this entire time, one of the softest things I've seen out of the Diamondbacks is the fact that they refuse to have a celebration.
Yes.
And when things go bad for them, they cut off the head of the snake. They put the vest on a chair to never be seen out at the interview thing again. They don't have a snake. They don't have a thing they do. They do a little jump shot thing that's not
shoot the haters. Jerry did tell us that.
Shoot the haters.
He said we're shooting the haters.
I don't care how violent it is. Give me a gun celebration. Give me Christian Walker doing bang bang again. Bang bang.
What was it? The Turkish guy in the Olympics.
That might be a lot. That might be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, something cool though. Seriously, like that could juice up a team, and they just outright refuse to.
Well, it's weird, right? It's not even an outright refusal. It's like they want to play, but they're scared to play, right? It's like the Marlins, our guy Patrick Wayne Collects brings it up. The Marlins have the dumbest goddamn hat I've ever seen in my life. It's so stupid. Yet they have something and they do it and they have fun, and stuff like that is where you see a team not getting so tight. You see a team not, being so worried on the day-to-day basis about mistakes they made. They just go out there and have fun and play baseball. And again, it's the right kind of mindset to have. I know this is normally a player thing, but it's just, again, one of those things where I don't know why it's a metaphor for the Diamondbacks, but when the pressure is on this team, and again, this is definitely another criticism of Torey Lovullo for that idiot Killer Rex that won't stop shouting about me not talking bad about Torey, even though I believe I've criticized him twice already in this episode, is that this team does not seem to step up at any point when the pressure is really on. And what you could argue is that that 2023 run is a situation where the Diamondbacks didn't really have the pressure on them. They were the underdog in every situation. I don't believe the pressure really applied until they reached the World Series, and that's when they realized how big the moment was, and that's why they didn't succeed in that moment. And I feel like this goes beyond just things like that, right? You look at that stretch they needed to play to get into the playoffs in 2023. You look at the stretch they needed to make it into the playoffs where they didn't do so in 2024. You look at this season when the expectations were very, very high for this team when the season started after the acquisition of Corbin Burnes, and they definitely did not play up to those expectations early on. Now, here down the stretch, they are kind of in a must-win situation to save their season, and they're playing the worst baseball of the entire year. Sure, it's without certain components, but Josh Naylor and Randal Grichuk not being a part of the roster right now is not the reason why this team is playing so poorly. And yes, I will continue to stand on and die on the hill that the injuries are a big reason why this Diamondbacks team is in such a bad spot, but also not stepping up and not playing when you need to save your season, when the expectations are high, not stepping up and performing to those standards that Torey Lovullo has tried to create for this team is also a reflection on him, and has been kind of the identity of this team at times throughout the last couple of seasons. So again, this is not playing to make it, this wasn't really playing to save their season, and it wasn't playing to make it into the playoffs. It was simply playing to have a good showing and to try your best to not see your teammates kind of get picked off one by one by other franchises in order to try to get something back to, as Damon was talking about there, help for 2026, considering the situation they're in when next season starts. But they definitely did not play up to expectations during this week. And, again, I turn around, I see the Padres or the Pirates beat the Giants. So, again, it's like there's that where I see the Pirates beat the Giants, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe the Pirates are just playing good baseball right now. But that's where you get into that mode of not blaming the Diamondbacks right now. Huh?
We're the get-right team.
We are the get-right team.
The Tigers were playing awful baseball. They're back.
12-2 today.
They're
11
back.
extra base hits.
Tigers ball is back.
I'm blowing the by the numbers segment. I'm giving all the information away. 419 expected batting average. Oh, I shouldn't even say it. All right, we're going to get to that in a second. Don't you guys go anywhere. We got a lot to talk about, including Brandon Pfaadt and that 5th inning blowing up and going sideways on this team. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, I need a drink, and a great place to do that is at Circle K. And let me tell you, Circle K has the Inner Circle membership, which is free, and it will save you all sorts of money on wonderful beverages. Of course, right now for Inner Circle members only, you can save 25 cents off per gallon when you buy 3 Coca-Cola products. So why wouldn't you stop there and get your Coca-Cola? Do what Espo does. Go there, get your drinks exclusively there. Save 25 cents off per gallon. You can get those big old cookies for $1 each right now. You can also get 79-cent Polar Pops and 99-cent Frosters. And everybody can get 3 for $5 28-ounce Gatorades, 2 for $5 12-ounce and 16-ounce Celsiuses, and 2 for $2.50 Arizona iced teas, those 22-ounce jobs. So right now, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And again, when we want to talk about championships, not going to talk about championships on this show for a while, but we will talk about championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway, because it might be your last chance to see it here in Phoenix and witness 4 champions being crowned during championship weekend. This is a sport you have to experience in person. Trust me, I am a converted fan of NASCAR. I now watch it every single weekend. I utilize both TVs for it, and it's because it's a lot of fun. And, when I suggest picking a driver, pick a driver, maybe one that's in the playoff race. So that way, if he should make it to this championship race, you have a chance to root for somebody. Nothing can match the smell of burnt rubber and fuel in the air out there at Phoenix Raceway. And let me tell you, you have some of the best access in all of sports. For a small ticket upgrade, you're in the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, up close in the garages, meeting drivers, taking pictures with the cars, walking the track, and so much more. Don't miss your chance to witness the NASCAR Championship weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship race sell out every single year, so move fast to get yours now before they're gone. And again, here's the kicker. NASCAR is taking championship weekend on the road starting in 2026, so this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get yours now at phoenixraceway.com. Might be your last chance to catch a championship in Phoenix for a while.
Which is like, we can't even have the races that they used to give us for the championship. Like they even have to take those away.
Yeah, well, no, they're like, we gotta vacate the Valley because this isn't.
I mean, quick rundown: hockey.
Wow.
Baseball.
Yeah. Almost gone too. Almost went the way of hockey.
Like, our best shot is the Arizona Football Cardinals. Is that our best shot? Is that a real thing? I just said out loud.
Damon, that can't be real. That can't be our best shot.
It's brutal.
Please tell me about U of A men's basketball or something.
ASU football and U of A men's basketball. Those are the true hopes and dreams of this state.
Michael's asking, are they closing Phoenix Raceway? No, they just do the championship race here in Phoenix every year. I was new to that. I didn't know that until we started collaborating together with them. The championship race just used to be here every year. It's nice here in October, I guess. It's still not cold. So yeah. And Sean says college championships do happen in Phoenix and Glendale. Thank you, Sean. We still need to have something around here, but and Michael said, are we seriously worried they're going to rip away a professional sports team in one of the spring training capitals? Not anymore.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that baseball is clearly we're very far away from winning a championship. The Coyotes are gone. The Suns are a very young team. They're going young. They're a long ways away. It's a disaster. We can't even get NASCAR championship
I don't want
races.
to talk about this game or this subject matter, quite frankly. How was Chicago, Damon? Can we talk about that? How was your trip to Chicago?
It was great.
Did you have Pequod's Pizza, as I told you to have?
I did take your recommendation. Unbelievable.
I've ever had in my life.
The crust, chef's kiss, nothing like it. What a city. What a city, man. And the baseball was so much fun there. We should try it sometime.
You saw the White Sox beat the tar out of the Cubs.
I did, but even that being said, like the environment was still fun. It wasn't like everybody just went home after it was 11-0 in the third.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There is the fact that you came out to a place that you enjoy being and you're okay with hanging out there even though the game ended by the third inning, right? Don't know what that's like here.
Can I also say beers were cheaper at the White Sox game than they were at Dbacks games?
Stop it.
Not the value beer, obviously, but those are also in little tiny cups. The like how you have to buy a tall boy here, and it was like $3 cheaper in Chicago.
Yeah. All right. Sean in the chat says, I think this team will be good again, but I hope ASU fans are ready for that AZ Sports letdown.
Feed it to me, Sean.
We were ready.
Inject it into my veins.
We were born ready.
Hook me into it.
We were born ready for it. Just like we knew when this game was 2-2, we knew that things were going to fall apart for this team. There was no way that they weren't. Even if Brandon Pfaadt went out there and shoved and kept things at 2-2 and didn't have everything fall apart in the fifth inning, you still felt like this bullpen was going to give it away, and you just couldn't feel good about a close game, let alone a tied game. Brandon Pfaadt did cruise along until that fifth inning. He did stay away from his four-seam fastball for some reason as much as possible. He only threw it 6 times, Damon. The reason why I say for some reason or why it was weird, I think one time it got hit for a home run, and then the other 3 out of the other 5 times he got whiffs on it. So I don't know. Was not feeling his four-seam fastball today, but he did go sinker, very much sinker heavy in this one. And the Tigers just, once they got to that fifth inning, started jumping all over his first pitch, and everything seemed to fall apart for Brandon Pfaadt. It's like they knew what was coming. I don't know if they picked up something in his delivery or what exactly happened, but the Tigers would hit 3 home runs off of Brandon Pfaadt in the inning. And there was one that was very important. We brought it up on our Twitter account, but Damon, if you wouldn't mind, there was a missed call here, and maybe possibly just, a fairly egregious missed call. It was pitch 5 there at the top of the zone. I know it's not exactly huge there for you looking at it, but this is, thank you, Brand. Thank you there, Damon. This one definitely was a missed call. More than 50% of the ball was in the zone. It was a strike. And instead of it being a called strike 3, ball 6 there, as you see, the ugly blue circle there, that was hit for a home run by Zach McKinstry. That was a 2-run home run on the very next pitch, and that would make it a 7-2 game that would end Brandon Pfaadt's night. It's not like the offense really put up more of a fight going forward after that point. So again, it's not like I could sit here and say, had that call been made in Brandon Pfaadt's favor, this game might have gone differently. However, it really did seem to be like the straw, right? I mean, again, 3 home runs allowed, but that one was the one that just basically ended the game. So Brandon ends up going forward 2/3 innings, gives up 11 hits and 7 earned runs in one of his worst outings of the season. He did not walk anybody, but he did have 3 strikeouts. And man, I hate this. Why are we we got to do this, but let's power up. I hate using all of these resources and power, but I do love Circle K. So I'm going to do it for them on their behalf. But let's power up the Circle K strikeout meter for Brandon Pfaadt. 3 strikeouts for Brandon Pfaadt. And with every K, you win at Circle K. Text STRIKE to 31310 to start saving on fuel, food, and drinks after every home game. And apparently, Circle K tells us the more strikeouts the Diamondbacks throw, the more you save, including if they hit the 13+ mark in a game, Damon, you get 25 cents off per gallon on your fuel. I'm not sure if we'll see that again this season. And I'm not sure if a Diamondbacks pitcher is going to fill that up enough to warrant the amount of resources we have to have in order to light that thing up. But bullpen, again, not solid after that point. Brandon Garcia comes into the game, brand new Diamondbacks reliever, still getting his feet wet here for the team, and he kind of gets rocked as well. In his third of an inning pitch, he gives up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. Jake Woodford, in his inning of work, gave up a home run for an earned run. He had 1 strikeout. Curtis had an inning of work, 1 hit, and things are bad when here at the tail end we're talking about Jose Herrera coming into the game to pitch for the Diamondbacks. Jose Herrera, better pitcher than hitter, 1 inning of work, 2 hits, 1 earned run allowed.
He's a better pitcher than he is a hitter, Derek. That's what I always say about Josie.
Yeah, Josie, big fan. They're a big fan of Josie over there. Well, we might not be, but hey, if he can pitch out of the bullpen, we'll see what he'll do. Benjamin Hunley, thank you for your super chat. He said, I'm not a Torrey hater, but he's looking despondent in the post-game pressers lately. Does not look like a manager who is on top of things. And yeah, I will add that to the pile in regards to the team. I feel like they look the way he is expressing his feelings. And to be honest, this season isn't over. The trade deadline isn't the end of their season. And up to this point, the Diamondbacks have traded away players that, yes, I'm sure they'll miss. Yes, I'm sure it hurts to trade away players like every team experiences and goes through. But, I mean, it's big boy business right now, right? And you trade these guys away in an effort to make this team fill some needs that they need in the immediates and try to get better in the future, right? So, but to be a sad sack and to be completely out of it as far as things are concerned, that this is it's not great. Yeah, and I'll agree with you on that. I don't love the vibes. I don't love anything. However, there was also a period of time during the game when Ketel Marte and Jake McCarthy were having a good laugh.
Oh man, you should. I got up and screamed.
Damon was so fired up about it. He was ready to throw things. So yeah.
I will say I at that moment broke me. Seeing them smile after Jake threw in the ball mid-slide, down 7-2, only to lose 12-2. And they're sitting there, Derek, and they're having a grand old time. That was so funny, guys. Right. Isn't that hilarious and quirky? Or is it embarrassing? We're down 7-2. The whole team's getting traded away. That was disgusting, Derek. I did not like that.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a lose-lose when things are going this bad for you. You can't look like you have fun. You can't try to
and
go
Candace
out there.
Is right. Don't have fun.
It would almost be kind of a cliche, like to go out there and for Torrey to be giving like rah speeches in the post game and such. However, yeah, if that's the way he looks in the post game presser, where he's kind of putting on a facade for the media and to be on TV and stuff, I can only imagine what his attitude is like with the ball club. So yeah, no, I mean, again, this team, everything is not good. No good is coming of this, and things just seem to be getting worse. Diamondbacks do have an early game tomorrow at 10 a.m. against the Tigers. We will be back with another post-game show after that, so make sure to join us, and we'll hopefully see the team avoid the do I say S word or do I say sweep in this situation?
The sweep,
avoid the sweep. Avoid the sweep. I can say it's S word this time. But on the other side of this break, we're going to look at the terrible numbers from this series or from this game. And we're also going to look at the terrible standings for the NL West. Things are terrible. It's just a terrible thing. We're not terrible people, but we do have to talk about a terrible baseball team right now. But you're good people for being here. We thank you so much. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, like I said, Game Time is your last-minute ticketing app for you. If you are a procrastinator like me that also gets FOMO very easily, it's your app to shine. And of course, like I said, maybe don't go watch Diamondbacks baseball games. Maybe find something else that brings you less pain and less sadness to watch. If you do choose to do so, you can save 60% off by buying your tickets last minute. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying even easier by quickly highlighting the best deals in each game that you're looking at, each event that you're looking at. That way you don't have to search through all of those available tickets. They have zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats for you. And they do have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Damon, what time is it?
Game time.
I'm proud of you for mustering up that much energy for it. Good job. Also, All Pro Shade Concepts wants to help extend your outdoor living space, and with this summer heat bearing down on us in the way that it is, and again with our baseball team not being very good, you might want to spend some more time outdoors in your backyard with your friends, and you can do so thanks to All Pro Shade Concepts. They can help extend your outdoor living space with a motorized awning. They have hundreds of designs to choose from, colors to choose from, and they can match your home, and they can ensure you are HOA compliant. They also have the ability to retract with remote control, LED lighting you can add, and so much more. They also have roll down patio shades that can block the sun and keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler. Hundreds of colors and durable fabrics to withstand the easy sun, and mostly, again, they can block out those harmful UV rays. So they've been in business for 20 years in the Valley. If you're looking to upgrade your outdoor space, give them a call at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. And Damon, do I contractually have to look at the numbers from this game? Is that how this works? Is there a deal in place? I know our friends at Desert Financial always make sure that our numbers are straight. I just don't know if I'm obligated to talk about them. I would like to talk about your pizza at Pequod's Pizza far more than I want to talk about the numbers of this game. Let's talk about the things we would rather talk about than the numbers from this game. So much stuff.
The work I have to do when I go home.
Traffic, sitting in traffic
is a good one.
The time that the Diamondbacks cut Jesse Jr.'s head off because they blamed him somehow for their lack of performance.
Being sick in the summer.
Oh yeah, being sick in the summer is awful. It's the worst.
All of these things are better than
the
numbers tonight.
Yeah, but guys, we have to do it, so we're going to anyway. So let's take a look at the numbers from tonight's game. Diamondbacks lose this one by a score of 12-2. They get out hit. I'm glad you went with 15, Damon. I'm glad you went with 15. However, not to jump on you here, it's actually 19. They had 19 hits. 19 hits the Detroit Tigers had. You just stopped counting after some point, and I know you did. Diamondbacks.
I don't know.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. You know what?
They don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. Well, they're not trying. Why should we? 19 hits for the Detroit Tigers in this game. The Diamondbacks had 5, and mind you, they had the bases loaded twice in the first inning and the second inning. 2 base hits after that. 2. I want to throw something, but I'm going to break something, and Shane gets mad at me when I do that. Diamondbacks were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Meanwhile, the Tigers 6 for 17. The Tigers, of those 19 hits, had 11 extra base hits. 11 extra base hits. 11. It's insane. Carpenter had 2 doubles. Perez had a double. Riley Green had 2 doubles. Banez had a double. McKinstry had a double. Perez also had a triple. Then a home run by Torres, home run by Green, home run by McKinstry, all in the 5th inning, all off Brandon Pfaadt. Absolutely horrible. But nothing is more of a joke than the expected batting average. 419 to 160. I'm telling you. I you know what, Damon? I don't like to admit when Candace is right, but Candace is right. I think I need to be muted. If you wouldn't mind, I think I need to scream about the numbers for at least 20 seconds. Was that muted? Did you mute me? I don't know. I hope you did. Anyway, all right, let's get
You'll
back.
just have to find out, Derek, on watching it back, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and make sure. If not, Damon or somebody's gonna be very upset with me. But now that I got all that out, that does feel better. I won't lie. Very, very cathartic. Let's take a look at the drunken orgy of violence we call the NL West standings, just to see how far back we almost deserve the infinity symbol ourselves.
I was just about to ask you, Derek, and I was waiting for this moment. What are the odds? How confident are you that we finish above the Rockies?
Oh, come on.
I feel like we're about to lose every game the rest of the season.
Oh, come on. Don't do
right
that.
now. I feel like we're the worst team in the league.
I mean, we're playing like the worst team in the league, but I don't think that we could even come close to
Watch
the Rockies.
this, man. The Rockies are gonna put on a show. They're gonna make this close by the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I know. And Piece of Yoshi is right. The Marlins are ahead of us now in the wild card, thus adding another team. But that doesn't matter, because at this point, with the Diamondbacks being 7.5 games back in the wild card and 11.5 in the division, there's no argument to be made that their season is not over. And maybe that's the reason why they're all in this funk that they're in. Maybe it's the reason that Torey Lovullo has no life to him left as a manager, because they know their season is over. However, you can't play like it. You have 2 months left of the season. You can't just give up. You can't just wave the white flag. You can't just do this. So I don't really know. I don't think that as far as, the teams passing them now in the wild card or other things. I mean, I still don't think the Marlins have a chance. I don't really think the Giants have a chance. However, both of those teams right now are closer than the Diamondbacks. So what's that saying about the Snakes and their chances? It just seems like it's over, right? But Michael said, like, I legitimately believe they're going to get hot. And I mean, I think that we've legitimately felt that all season long, right? That's probably the biggest impending feeling about this Diamondbacks team this entire season, is that no matter how badly they've played, you feel like they're going to turn the corner and put things together and go on an incredible stretch. And again, that's probably the past making us feel this way. The Diamondbacks were a lot of fun to watch during this stretch last year. Don't even get me started on 2023. But during this stretch last year, they were one of the best teams in baseball. So this was much more fun to watch. And I don't know.
Oh, Michael was
talking about the Rockies. Yeah, you could be right about that.
He thinks the Rockies Dbacks situation a little bit closer than maybe the numbers might suggest right now.
I think you're both I think you're just both at the end of your rope. But let's see. Knights 23 has a great question. One I was going to talk to Espo about on our trending pod, but we kind of ran out of time there. He said, which team do you think was more disappointing? The Suns with their big trio or this D-backs team? What would you say? What would you say?
It's tough.
I mean, if the, like, again, a Suns trio team did experience their fair share of injuries. It felt like they were hardly ever together. So that did impact them. Maybe not to the extent that what the injuries have done to this Diamondbacks team with losing guys for the entire season.
I would
in the
say,
same way, but similar levels of expectations with similar levels of disappointment.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would say, the Suns on paper have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and even Bradley Beal to an extent. Like, those are big names. So maybe the casual fan probably expected them to be better.
Sure.
But I think that people that know the respective sports that we're talking about here would have said that the Suns build was not really a good built basketball team.
And they were never deep. That was the one criticism was, and the Diamondbacks were extremely deep. And in fact, that was the majority of our conversations at the beginning of this year, was how much depth the Diamondbacks had, how unfair it was that Ryan Nelson wasn't going to be in the starting rotation, what they were going to do with all of these guys, who was going to end up in Reno, ha, 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 ha. And yet here we are, not only completely depleted of that depth, but
Reno's going to be pretty good this year, don't you think, guys? The PCL better watch out.
Oh, we said some stupid crap. I'm sure you could go back and find some frosty takes for sure. But
I will say, though, I think that the Diamondbacks, like, I'm obviously a D-backs fan, and I'm not really a Suns fan. Right. I had higher expectations for the Diamondbacks than I did the Suns.
I agree with that, because I don't know if people believed. I think a lot of people were disappointed, even when they made the move for Kevin Durant. It was a surprise, but it was a splashy move. It cost them a lot. People didn't like what it cost them to get rid of him. Mikal Bridges and Cam were a big part of the reason why this team had the success they did. The Diamondbacks didn't really sacrifice anything like that, or at least they didn't, Christian Walker, he was a big part of this team. He is playing well for the Astros, but didn't play well early on. So he wasn't like a guy that really made you feel like, oh man, we got rid of him, and that really changed the season for us, right? But this is one of those things where, the Diamondbacks were probably a more well-rounded team and a team that really was in a position to compete better than the Suns were. So I don't know, man, but it's a great question and probably very close to being a push on how disappointing both of those teams' seasons have been, but or went. But what's not a disappointment is Josh Naylor with his new team in the Seattle Mariners. And I know that because Shane won't stop rubbing it in my face, and I hate it every single time it happens. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a little spying on our exes on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, if you're looking to make some gear that stands apart from the crowd with your brand, make sure you check out Brandon Bills. They have some of the best hats. They are just very comfortable hats. Not only do they fit extremely well, they're light, they are airy for this hot Arizona summer, and they fit extremely well as well. But you can start your order right now, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need to help your brand stand apart from the crowd. They have partnerships with over 40 universities, including ASU U of A as part of their campus collection. They also have partnerships with the Phoenix Suns, and they are a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. So head to brandonbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Get in contact with them and let their fine folks get you hooked up with some branded gear for your brand. Also, check out Mountain America Credit Union. Mountain America Credit Union is committed to helping their more than 1 million members, and they have 100 branches throughout the West. Right now, you can get 2 times the points on your rewards credit card purchases through July 31st. You can use your Mountain America Rewards card and watch the points pile up. It's perfect for gas, groceries, travel, home projects, and all other purchases. I strongly suggest leaving those points, letting them gather, forget about them, and then one day magically you can get yourself a free trip somewhere. It's a great way to spend your points. This promotion is an easy way to stretch your dollar since you earn twice as many rewards. You can redeem your double points for rewards like travel rebates, gift cards, and event tickets. Loans on approved credit over at Mountain America Credit Union. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, Damon. Well, I'm ready to get weird. I'm ready to already. I know it's early. I know we just lost these guys, but I'm ready to already spy on our exes. Can we do that with a little spying on our exes segment here? Josh Naylor, guy. Miss him already. Miss him a lot. Josh Naylor is the first Marlins player now with 4 stolen bases in his first 4 games with this team. You thought it was a gimmick. You thought it was just a funny thing he was doing with this team. No, Josh Naylor has wheels, and he is showing them. This is from the Mariners PR department. Josh Naylor, again, the first Mariners player with 4 stolen bases in his first 4 games with this team. Again, .333 batting average so far, 1 home run, and 4 stolen bases. Randal Grichuk, by the way, hasn't been gone for very long. He is already 3 for 9 with a home run, 1 RBI, 2 runs, and a walk. So our guys have left, and they are doing it, and it makes me sad. Damon, I'm not surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm sad, and it doesn't help the situation that the Diamondbacks right now are so bad offensively, and they could desperately use even the slightest pick-me-up here with Naylor or Grichuk. But best to both of those guys, specifically Randal Grichuk, who, like I said, one time told me that I didn't look like I was old enough to have a 14-year-old. And it really was the kindest thing that anybody's ever said to me, probably my whole entire life.
You, I think, in that moment were like, I would take a bullet for Randal Grichuk. It means that much. It means that much. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I also will say, home free. Shout out to those guys. They're free. They're free from the shackles of this team.
They made it out.
They get to play for a franchise that maybe is trying to win more baseball games. Home free, man.
Well, we're home free on Gino's injury, that's for sure. But does it really matter for much longer, considering that the trade deadline is now just 2 days away, and it is inevitable that Gino is going to be a part of some sort of trade package. But the Mariners, the talk with the Mariners, which seemed to be kind of heating up there after the Josh Naylor trade was completed, those seem to be cooling off. And from reports, it would seem that the Diamondbacks, as we've already discussed, are asking far too much for Eugenio Suarez. So, Damon, I ask you, is that a mistake? And does there come a time where some team is just going to have to call Mike Hazen's bluff, especially as we get closer to 6 p.m. on July 31st, and the Diamondbacks just inevitably have to take whatever is being offered to them at the time?
I mean, it just depends how many teams are interested, right? But I do feel what you're saying. Like, it seems like at this point, the Diamondbacks have to offload these guys. But right. Obviously the package gets upped by the number of teams that are trying to get Geno. Otherwise, if there's one team that's locked in on it, then we're going to get screwed.
Yeah.
But if there's a handful of teams that are interested, I still think that the price could be fairly high. Well, I just want one piece that I think is like a building block for the future.
Yeah.
Truly.
Michael says, can we address whether or not we think Geno will actually get traded, or whether or not if we don't trade him now, he'll probably get traded at the end of the season anyway? Well, Geno's on a contract year. So at the end of the season, he would be a free agent and would most likely either be too expensive for the Diamondbacks to bring back, or maybe just choose not to stick around. He has said he loves Arizona. He has said he's wanted to stay here. However, the sentiment might be that Arizona's window has closed. And if that's the case, then certain players, especially players that have the option to leave, might choose another team, considering that there's a good chance that whatever Arizona is willing to pay a player at this point, like Eugenio Suarez, another team will probably pay him that amount, right? I can't imagine the Diamondbacks really outbidding anybody. It would have to be more like a Corbin Burnes situation where that player would want to play here in Arizona and not necessarily be doing it based on the Diamondbacks being able to offer more money than another team. But the Tigers actually were also a big rumored landing spot for Geno. He was asked at one point about potentially landing with the Tigers, and kind of it seemed like it was his ideal spot. He also seemed apt to go to the Mariners as well, because both of these are teams he's played for, as well as the Cincinnati Reds, which is another team that's in on Geno as well. But that's a team that, again, they have their own decisions to make here at the trade deadline. They're in a similar position as the Diamondbacks, where their record isn't great and they still have some teams in between them and a wild card spot. So it would be interesting to see if the Reds make those kind of moves in order to improve that team. But Tigers are leading their division by a considerable amount, and they could really use a guy like Geno. Geno said that as far as the landing spot is concerned, Tigers, it would be cool for him to go back to the Tigers, considering they're the team that drafted him as an international amateur. And it would just be a nice, kind of bookend to his career to end back up with the same team that brought him into Major League Baseball. But you also have Gallen and Kelly, which have had some similar teams interested in both of them. The Toronto Blue Jays apparently are very interested in both Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, and the Chicago Cubs both are in on Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Realistically, I think the Tigers, for me, are a great landing spot for Geno, because the Tigers have a great farm system. And as far as available talent, it feels like Detroit would be the one that would probably have the most to offer the Diamondbacks. And considering their current position as far as success is concerned, might be the one that is most willing to deal some of those young prospects away, especially considering what they have there in pitching. But as Damon would be very quick to at least do his due diligence on and ask you, what would you consider for one Tarek Skubal? Perhaps we can trade Geno and half of our roster for a Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, I'll role play as the Tigers GM here, Derek. You just called me and asked for Tarek Skubal. Yeah, lose this number forever, buddy.
Okay, yeah,
never call again.
That's a very reasonable response to this simple question.
Never offer me a trade ever again. In fact, I'm filing a restraining order.
But you know what, though? Speaking of restraining orders, I feel like filing a restraining order against Noah, because he is a known Tigers fan. He's here hovering about the set, and he's going to produce me tomorrow in your absence, which makes me sick, because much like Kevin with the Cardinals and Diamondbacks thing, now I got to deal with another opposing fan as my producer, and people aren't going to like that. But
he's rubbing his hands together maniacally
it's
now.
Gross. He's
behind the camera.
I don't. He's doing some sort of air hump motion, and now he's spanking an invisible butt. It's really getting weird on the other side of this camera. And honestly, I deserve it. We as a franchise deserve it. We got spanked tonight. What he just did was very much what happened to the Diamondbacks. So Not great. Scotty Max says Ketel Marte for Scooble or Skeens. Yeah, you're not going to get much of an argument from me on that one, pal. But yeah, I don't know what the Diamondbacks are going to do, and I feel like the worst part about their lack of success right now is much like Gino getting hit in the hand. At least those X-rays, those scans were negative. So good news back on Gino, and again, good news that it's hopefully won't impact his trade value, even though he was out of the lineup today. Is that overall this team spiraling right now the way that they are changes their position as far as negotiating is concerned, right? It's like Mike Hazen really doesn't have anything to stand on when it comes to the Diamondbacks now being on the more desperate end of trying to unload these guys before Thursday, rather than being like, hey, we're still trying to win, we're still trying to contend, but if you make me an offer that I can't refuse, I'd hear you out. With the Diamondbacks dropping 6, 7, 8 potentially games back before that trade deadline comes, or at least potentially 7, then again, that it doesn't let the Diamondbacks be in a position of power for negotiating here at the trade deadline. Teams know that they're going to want to get rid of these guys, and teams are going to maybe offer that much less because of knowing the position that they're in. So this losing right now doesn't just hurt any kind of chances of us as fans having hope, doesn't hurt, just hurt their chances of being a competitive team on the other side of the trade deadline, or even come close, remotely close to giving us hope about the postseason. This also really much impacts their ability to trade. So just not a good time right now for the Diamondbacks. But again, we do have a game tomorrow. I would love it if you guys would come and scream about Torey Lovullo and demand for his job tomorrow as well, because I just need the company. Me and Damon Damon's not going to be here. He's abandoned me once again. This guy, Mr. Vacations over here once again.
on vacation on my podcast I host.
Yeah, no, he's going to be busy doing U of A, but hope you guys aren't busy. Would love for you guys to join us, of course. But until then, you can follow us on Twitter. Where are we at time-wise, Damon? Because
we got a couple minutes.
I'm hot and I'm sad and I really don't have much else. But did we miss any super chats?
No, we got all those super chats.
All right. Well, this is me now. This
is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a disaster for me. I'm done. And see, here's the thing is I don't really feel like if they're not going to try, why should I try? Why should I sit here and have to stammer on at the end of the show? I'm good.
Here's a good way to round it out. Where do you want to see these players end up? Like, what are good fits for Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, Eugenio Suarez? You said you felt that the Tigers and the Mariners potentially for Suarez.
I mean,
right?
honestly, like I think that the problem is that a team that trades for these players does have a leg up on re-signing them, right? And these organizations that are interested in Gallen and Kelly are teams that do have the ability to keep them potentially next season and beyond.
So it's like, who do we not want to see them
right,
go to?
I would love to Toronto Blue Jays, happily. Love that fan base. Love them to be as far away. The AL and the East, that's as far away as you possibly could go.
We never play them.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like they seemingly strike out on a big free agent every offseason. Now we just get Zach Gallen through the door and we just re-sign him long term.
They turned Robbie Ray into a stud. I'm sure they'll turn Zach Gallen into an absolute pitching god. So yeah, there's that. I would love to see them get out of the National League and as far away from us.
Gino
as
to the
possible.
Mariners sounds good.
Gino to the Mariners is fine with me. Also, Gino to the Tigers doesn't bother me either. I think the Tigers, they're kind of an inspirational story for us. This season is not going to go the way that it did for the Tigers last year. That dream is dead, right? But it doesn't mean that the Diamondbacks still can't have something similar happen to where, they do kind of have a year. Maybe 2026 is that year.
Ernesto's going the other way here. Imagine Gino and Philly and Merrill and San Diego.
I don't like that at all, Ernesto. I don't like that at all. I don't like that
thoughts. At all. Everyone stay out of Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that's my number one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I want to see 0 players go to the Philadelphia Phillies. I still hate those guys. So
out of the National League West too, as well. No National League East, no National League West. Stay out there. I don't want them staying with the Cubs because they'll be great with the Cubs, and Cubs will love them.
I was going to say, doesn't Merrill feel like a Cub?
So much like a Cub. So much like a Cub. Like he comes straight out of Iowa cornfields right into Wrigley Field to pitch a no-hitter. But Again, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time. We will see you tomorrow on tomorrow's post-game show, so make sure to join us for that. We also have a special start time for Thursday's trade deadline. We'll be starting at 3:30 p.m., so please join us for that so that we can recap whatever moves the Diamondbacks make. We're going to try to capture all those and let those happen before we do a show. So we're abandoning our 12 p.m. time to do that. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_caveman with a K. Damon, of course, is at Damon Dog. That is with a DAWG at the end, and we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you again so much for your time. Sean asked if Chris Elliott is a Cubs fan. Well, if he's not, he's going to be once Merrill Kelly joins that squad. But again, appreciate you guys so much for your time. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves, Candace. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you don't have to see your team get absolutely mollywopped 12-2.
We all silly like the mayor.